Just what's the feeling about it? You've seen Dirk's. I mean, obviously, you've had so many honors. Just what is this one like?
I know. You always feel like you're just we're done here, and then something comes along, and the jersey and the Hall of Fame. But I think being out there in that plaza, just with Dirk obviously means a lot. He's been such a great friend and good guy, and done a lot of things that were exciting for each of us and our teams in the city. So it's just been, when Dan and Brad and Tom called about doing this deal a few years ago, it was exciting. I thought, it was just kind of icing on the whole thing.
For either one of you, the big question: is it the trophy? Is it the flap? I mean, which way did y'all go?
Wait and see.
You'll recognize it. That's for sure. It's a trademark.
Sorry, congratulations.
Hey, Mike.
Good to see you.
You too.
Do you like what you've seen of the work so
yeah,
far?
it's. I went to Chicago, and this was in July, I think just early July, right after the 4th, and I thought, wow, this looks great, and it was like maybe a quarter of the way through, just with the details and everything. But I tell everybody that Barry Sanders was being done right next to mine, and just probably was getting done the finishing touches for the start of the football season. So, I obviously grew up a painful Lions fan for years, and Barry was a big idol of mine. But just the detailed and the facial thing, the jerseys, everything was just so on point. And so we've gotten photos as this thing's moved along, and it's just looked great. So it's a masterpiece.
His only complaint was, have you done yet?
Hey, Mike, I just want to ask, a lot of people wondered if hockey would work whenever the North Stars came to Dallas here in Texas, and then you were part of that, won a Stanley Cup, jersey's retired, obviously. Now you have a statue here. I mean, that solidifies, I think, that this town has embraced this team, and they've been such a centerpiece for Dallas sports.
Well, I think we, even if we had a crystal ball back then, we never realized what it would pan out to be like in this city. And, it took 5-6 years to kind of get through the honeymoon stage. And I think we came here, boots on the ground, and just tried to promote the heck out of the game and get people to reunion to see it in person. And we felt if we got people in the stands that they would get hooked. There was a lot of speed. We had some, Churla was a folk hero down here, Shane Churla, so people loved the fact that guys could beat on each other and not get thrown into jail, and you get a couple-minute penalty and get back out and do it again. So it was the speed, the physical, the finesse of the game. I think it was eye-catching to people who hadn't been around the game before, and so I think that's really kind of got what the ball rolling. So, and then obviously, Hitchcock comes in town, and we make a run like no other till 02-03. So it was some magical years, and but it certainly solidified Dallas as a hockey market, and the fan base has just been phenomenal since day one.
There's only been a handful of hockey greats like Bobby Orr and Wayne Gretzky that have a statue of themselves. What's it like to be in the same breath as those kind of guys?
Very honored, very humbling. Certainly this. To have it here, this town's meant a lot to me, the fans. My time here has been something that's been very special to me, obviously, and we'll never forget the moments and the experiences and that we shared here in this town with everybody. So, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to picture yourself out there next to Dirk and with all the other great athletes that have been a part of great organizations around the country, and starting with Gordie Howe and Stan Mikita, Bobby Hall, Luc Robitaille, Gretzky. It's just, it doesn't seem real.
Mike, obviously, your place in this organization's history is unquestioned. But I'm curious, in recent years, what has the relationship with the organization been like? And obviously, some differences. Is all that kind of in the rearview mirror? And how do you kind of view all that?
It always has been. I think it's been more made up than it really has been. So life goes on, people change. I've moved around a lot, had a bunch of kids, and your priorities change, and where you want to raise them comes into play. And not working a lot, has a lot of free time, and you kind of overanalyze everything in life when you don't have something to keep you busy. So, I love the fact that I can be home and be with all the kids and not miss a game or practice, and take them to school and pick them up. And, those experiences to me have been great. So I've, in a way, I kind of glad I waited to have kids after my career, and I was too probably selfish and focused when I was playing to have kids, but I'm glad I have them now and have a chance to be with them. But the Stars, Dallas will always be something in my heart forever. My career started in Minnesota with the North Stars, and so we've kind of gone full circle. So I've always been somewhat a Midwesterner, so I'm happy to be back there, raise the kids, but obviously here, coming back, see a lot of familiar faces and people. It feels like home too when you're here.
You mentioned your relationship with Dirk. Did you get the honor to break the news to him that he was no longer going to be the only statue? And had you talked to him about it?
I was waiting for that tonight, so I might shoot him a text saying that you might have a neighbor up there soon. So, I texted him when I saw his ceremony and told him it was great. So, obviously his patented shot. So it's only one guy in basketball that does that shot. He's got it down.
Omri, I just wanted to ask, what's your process in capturing him? Do you look at film? Do you look at photos? How do you get the essence of Mike Modano?
I think that every projects that done, a commission that done through the history, and we just talked about this a while ago, is kind of a triangle relationship between the commissioner, the artist, and the subject. And this fruitful relationship is very, very important to assess what you're going to go with, what is familiar, what the public want to look. All the questions that should be asked first and be judged by the opportunities, in this case, nowadays is photos and videos and archives up to kazoo. And you go from there, and Mike came to the studio and enjoyed to see it build up and follow the process and follow it by photos. And that's how we work worldwide.
If there's nothing else, we will.
Mike, just being such an iconic player for this franchise, did you expect that this would happen someday? And whenever they first approached you to tell you, what was your reaction when you found out that this was indeed going to happen?
Yeah, one is surprised. I think they got a little heat when Dirk got his first. So I think the internal pressure was on, and maybe the fan base, it's always been a topic of conversation. So, but yeah, when you get it's like getting the call about a jersey or the Hall of Fame. It's just, one of those calls you never expect you're going to get when you go play the game, but when you do, it's when Brad and Dan called and Tom, it's like, it was a great phone call, and one that, unexpected, obviously, and one that you cherish because it was special.
As a quick one, have they talked to you about naming a street after you by any chance?
There's a lot of them running around this rink, so I don't know. Not yet.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.